Okay, I have a new mic, so we're going to test this out, see how it works, but at the same time, I'm also going to cover a story, try and bring a little bit more positivity behind this, because the last story I covered, that was an absolute travesty of a story, but there has been another story that has come out through the media that really does paint things more like what they actually are, and seems like some journalist actually did care to write the story properly. So let's take a look at this one. It is from the BBC. I don't normally cover stuff from them, but this one seems to have a much more positive interaction to what we see in the furry fandom. Well, this one is from the BBC. Being a furry is like wearing a superhero cape. That's kind of funny because that was something that I did mention in my other video. It's because I came across this article, and I was like, you know what, I figured I might as well follow up and actually talk about this. Finnick Firefox, a man dressed as a large orange fox with blue hair and a tail tipped by flame, says that in his normal life he is a very shy person. But after he adopts his Fursona, he is dancing in the street and sharing a long hug with his best friend Rock, who is dressed like a giant red and black German Shepherd. And this is kind of what you see in the fandom. You see people come out of their shells. You see the shell that encapsulate around all of us just go away. You put on an avatar, you put on a fursuit at this point, and it's a completely different place in the world. It's like wearing a superhero cape. When I put my fox head on, the person is gone. He does not exist. Fennec says he's happy to be in costume and allows him to escape everyday struggles and do nothing but be happy. And that's exactly where I have found myself in the last little while. You jump into the avatar, you jump into an instance with a bunch of friends and some people you don't even know, and it's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely different social life. It's a completely different scenario that you just end up dealing with, and you get to do things that just in general are a lot more fun and unique in that sense. In my previous video, I talked about LARPing. Like, I've done LARPing, I've done live action role playing for a very long time. I've gone out in the middle of the woods with a whole group of people where you sit there and you do like a medieval quest, and you act out things that are going on, and it's a very, very different sense of the world, and creates this buzz in your head that you get to do something more with yourself. That's what has brought him to Scotland's largest furry convention, Scotiacon. Outside the Glasgow hotel where the event is held, hundreds of people dressed in costumes ranging from a rabbit in military uniform, which would be a take on Wild Assault. If you know what Wild Assault is, we have played that on the channel here. I'll probably put up a screenshot of it, where you can run around as a rabbit, literally in a military uniform, and it's a hero shooter. It's a type of game where you work together to capture the flag and kill other characters in it. It's the same thing like playing Apex Legends or many other styles of games that have been out there, but this one just has more of a anthropomorphic side to it. A few meters away, a group consisting of a bull with pink ears and a husky with a wizard's hat dancing along, and accordion being played by a person in a large cartoon fox head. How does that not sound like something absolutely fantastic to sit there and just smile at and have fun at? That's what this is more about. Watching people just having the time of their life, doing things that other people just sit there and they go, oh, what are they doing? It's eye-catching. It's like going into a sports arena and you're sitting in the fans, and your team is down by a goal or something like that, and the mascot comes out and starts amping up the crowd. You start cheering for your crowd. In my case, it would be the Oilers. So you start hearing the "Let's Go Oilers" chant, or you hear your team being cheered on, wanting defense or wanting a goal or just cheering it on. That's kind of what this is, but in a different sense. That no, there is not a team behind you. It is yourself, and it's yourself being out there, and people just look and they sit there and they smile. And you're doing something that absolutely everyone truly enjoys. A lot of people out there on Twitter that just don't seem to get it and just look at look at it from one side of view and they don't get the other side. I've had people say this is more like dressing in drag, and it's not. It's nowhere even near that. I honestly, myself, would I do something like that? Well, it's an avatar, and if I put something on an avatar, I know a few people suggest a maid dress. That's not coming. But I just don't see the appeal, really, for myself to dress in drag. But I see an appeal to dress like this, or to put on a fursona. I see that appeal because it's something more escaping the world. Drag is a little bit more. I sit there and I'm like, I think there's a little bit more behind that. I have no problems with those that do it, but I have more comfortable doing something like this than I would be on something like that. I don't know if anyone would really get that idea. Scotiacon co-director Jeremy Smith says the event is an opportunity to forget the real world for a weekend. And that's what this is all about. You go into these events. When we used to go out in the middle of the woods, you forgot you had a life. You forgot what was going on, and then you inject yourself into a medieval adventure. You inject yourself into an adventure that doesn't really end, and it starts the second you wake up. Hell, it even goes through the night on one of the nights. And you can come across people doing a bonfire. And that person at the bonfire might be a wizard that's going to either try and give you something extra that'll help your quest off, or they'll take something away from you, and you have that adventure and that sense of something more. And that's what this is. You just never know what's going to happen when you hop into, especially in VR chat. You don't know what's going to be laid out in front of you when you get this sense. And the difference with this is you're not following a set of rules. You're just kind of doing it and acting out in a way that is more expressive and more of something that you could be instead of something that you are. There is so much more behind this that people just don't seem to understand. I've come to the conclusion that I am truly finding something that is very, very passionate to me. And when I read articles like I read there the other day, and I've experienced what I've experienced in the last little bit, there is so many more things. So many more things. There's deep connections that you make with people. There's friends that you make. Some of my favorite things right now is just going into an instance, meeting up with people playing video games in a VR space, or hell, we've been playing Minecraft, and that Minecraft, yes, it's heavily modded.
Look, you blend in so well. You're with your people. Do it. Wow, Cinder, I can't believe you would attack an innocent emu.
But everyone I'm playing Minecraft with, they're all streamers. And that sense of having all the people around that all really do enjoy just being able to sit there in an avatar, or sit there in a skin in Minecraft. Now we've all got our own skins that just kind of represent who we are. It's a completely different sense. For myself, I've been a gamer all my life. For things like this, it really brings that back and shows that, yeah, you're different, but that different is good. That different is what makes it stand out so much more. Things like this, I don't have to go through this entire article because it is a very good article. I'll try and link this one because I think that a lot of people would get a little bit more of an understanding of it. But, even in here, it is no different to an anime convention or a Comic-Con convention. That's exactly what it is. Now, there's other things that you see in there. You have a very much more sense of who people are. You get a different sense of the social aspect of it. And that's probably something that is very missing in a Comic Con or an Anime Con. You don't get the social aspect. You don't get to learn more about other people. You just know that, yeah, you may meet people that like Naruto or like One Piece or like Macross, but you don't make the friends the same way. Where when you walk into a convention like this and people sit there and go, "Oh, what's your Fursona?" Okay, so in this case, myself being a phoenix, I get a lot of people going, "Oh, that's really unique. It's a mythical being, right?" Or I see others and they're like, "Well, they're a dragon." And then there's dogs. There's wolves. You see a lot of wolves. You see raccoons. You see rats. You see possums. You see everything you can think of that is a possible animal that can be translated into a drawn persona or a drawn anthropomorphic sized human being, or once was human, now with an animal skin. It makes things a lot more different. It's so much more than that. Now, in here they also talk about it's often associated with sexual fetishisms, and members of the fandom have been accused of sexual deviance or mischiefs. The convention does host events such as writing furry erotica, but Mr. Smith insists that furries are badly represented in the medium and the fetishism is not part of the furry identity. That's the difference here. There is, if you want to go down that path, you can go down that path and you can act things out in a very, very, very sexualized way if you really want to go down that path. But that's not what it is. That is definitely not what it is. So the representation behind that, especially with that other article, it's a poor stereotype and a poor understanding of what it means to don an avatar, what it means to put on a fursona, what it means to do something more in the world. Keep talking about how this is larger than life. I make myself bigger on screen. I have a different sense of the way things really react. There is even their own language in this and culture. And it's something that is completely different. When it does come down to it, take 20, 30 years from now, you're going to see people writing a history book on this. You're going to see people trying to justify what has gone on. And you're going to see that there is a big and deep history. There's even a documentary that goes back to the early days of how this fandom really started, or how this hobby really started. And it is it's very different from like an animathon or a sci-fi convention, even though it's very alongside of it. You have others that will sit there and they will try to break it down because people are having fun, because they're free, because they're doing something more with their life and just trying to share it with the world. This is the one thing for me that lets me forget those things that I've dealt with in life, that lets me know that it's worth it, that I can sit here and stand in front of everyone and just do something more. I've talked on long enough. I've rambled on long enough here. Have yourselves a great day. Let me know what you think of the audio quality. Hopefully I've upgraded it to a standard that is much better. And you know what? I can't wait to actually show off more. I can't wait to do more. I am your proud Canadian Phoenix, signing off here. Have yourselves a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.